Okay, everybody, welcome to our second meeting in Stronger Together that we're putting for you. We are recording this, so if you need to hear some of the things that we discussed, please don't hesitate. I'm going to ask everybody to mute their microphone so that we don't hear outside noises. I can do that actually. We're just admitting a few more people. We've got Jemima arriving with us. In a few minutes, we're going to have Fiona Tuck, who is going to give us a little presentation on the importance of connecting with clients using social media and all the other means that we can imagine. And that's obviously a really important thing to do, and to stay connected, not just with our close families and staff, but also with our clients. Fiona Tuck, if you don't know her, she's the founder of Vital Soul, which is a supplement. I've got a box here just to show you that they're beautiful supplements, and highly recommend these products. She's also the author of the Forensic Nutritionist. It's a marvelous book, lots of beautiful healthy recipes, and strongly recommend that. So it's a great privilege to have her with us, and I'm eternally grateful. Now, last week, if you remember, if you were with us, we had Amanda who talked to us about the hibernation plan, and that was really interesting. And she sort of went through the sort of 2 weeks outline of what we should prioritize. And I had I went online this morning and listened to her roundtable meeting, and that was amazing as well. So if you have the opportunity, her roundtable meeting is at 10 a.m. in the morning. She's an absolute gem. She's truly inspirational, and I highly recommend that. Also, one of the things that I talked about was the importance of mind setting. That it all starts with each one of us, and if our mindset is not well calibrated, then it's going to affect how our day goes and how our week goes, and also how we're going to go through these events. So it's really important to have. And I mentioned my 10-minute routine that I have in the morning. I get up, and the first thing that I do is I have 10 minutes of meditation, just silence. And that's really hard. I mean, if I was to ask you, let's just all be silent for 1 minute, you'll start hearing things in your head, and it's very hard to put them aside. And so one way that you can do that is by focusing on your breathing. But even when you do that, the thoughts of what am I going to do, who do I need to talk to, all of these things will come in, and it's extremely hard. So you're not alone, but I recommend that you do that. And then I have my glass of warm water, and I get started on my day. So what I can say that it's really important that we have a kind of a routine, that we set some routine and some structures. They're kind of like our pillars, something that we can lean on to get us through the day. And I was speaking with Amanda this morning, and she was talking about some of the segments that she has in her day. And I thought they were really, really good ideas, and I thought I'd share those with you. So she has little segments. She says she does about 2 hours. For some of them, it might be a bit too long. You can do anything from 1 hour to 2 hours, but she slices her days in different sections. And she talked about a section where she strategizes, and so she puts in motion maybe her list of things to do, though I recommend that you do your list of things to do at the end of the day. so that when you start your day, you already have a list already to go on. You make a change and adapt to it, but you know, finish your day with a list of things to do, and then you can move forward. And you know, the things that you think about when you strategize is the new things you're going to have in the salon. I heard a really interesting talk about already thinking about reopening the salon, and it will happen. It's just a question of time. You know, we just don't know when exactly it's going to happen, but it will happen. And I believe that the salon's got to have something, a new feeling to it, a new, you know, maybe the furniture will be placed differently, the color of the walls will be different, you'll have different posters, and point of touch will be different. So just start thinking about how you're going to reopen your salon, and how you're going to reconnect and bring your clients back to the salon, because that's going to be also a challenge in itself. So all those things that you can strategize on, you cut a segment of your day and you think about. For me, there's a lot of things that I can do in that segment, and so it's, you know, how I used to go and visit clients a lot more. Now I sort of tend to sit here in my desk and do the day-to-day, and that's something I want to bring back, and it's the way that I'm going to be moving forward, is to be out on the road more. And so of course we've got different businesses, but you know, you have different ways that you can touch your clients, and those touch points are things that need to be considered. Also, another segment of the day is how you can be of service, and that's something that that's very dear to me, is how can I help you? And so of course, you know, those things are things that we think about. I've got the whole team with me, and even if you're on your own, you can reach out and you know, just go through some ideas, and there's not just the service to your business, but to your family, to your friends. There are many ways that we can be of service. So putting some time towards thinking about that is really an important part, and it's also self-fulfilling. There's nothing greater than to help others. For me, I know that when I've reached out and helped someone, it's the best feeling. So it's also a way for you to feel that connection and that way. The other segment that I strongly recommend is that it's a great time to self-care, to look after yourself. The things that you can do to enhance your health. Maybe there's a bit of extra weight. We've got a exercise bike and a rowing machine down in the warehouse, and it's just gathering dust. So I'm gonna start back on it and you know, use it. There's, you know, all the great recipes that you can do, the things that you can do just to enhance your health. It's really important. So maybe, you know, I'm going to take some little videos just to show you, and I'm going to upload them on our closed group, and maybe you can share some of the things that you've done to enhance your health and your and what you're doing to improve everything about yourself. And you know, when you think about it, your skin is something that you wear, you know, for a lifetime. So it's an important thing to look after, and I'm sure your clients agree with that too. So we've just launched a 5-day challenge with our products, so we're actually going to do it, and we're going to see, you know, if we can show the improvement. So there's a lot of things to do, to, you know, in your self-development. The other thing I guess that's really important is not in your self-care, is the self-development. So what are the new skills that you're going to learn? What are you, I've just enrolled on a course, a free TAFE course that's about engaging customers through social media. Now, this is a course that TAFE is offering for free. I've always wanted to learn more about social media, so I'm going to have that opportunity, and I'm going to put an hour each day to do the course and follow that up. Now, there might be some things that you've wanted to learn. Amanda was telling us that she's always wanted to learn Spanish, and so the first thing she learned to say was, where do I find the red wine? Or something like that. But yeah, so obviously she's got her priorities, but she's definitely learning new skills, and that's really important. I know that you know, that and a photography course is something that I love to do. So they're probably things that I'm going to do, and so you know, it'd be great to hear some of the things that you're going to do during these next 3 months, at least, to develop your own skills. So those are the things that I wanted to just outline. I will finish with something after Fiona's presentation, but now I'm just going to hand over the microphone and the camera to Fiona. Fiona, you take it away. It's great to see you, and thanks again for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Frank. Hopefully you can all hear me. If you can't, wave or something.
Perfectly. It's okay with me. I hope everybody okay. Yeah, I got thumbs up everywhere. Fantastic.
Thank you for having me. And really, I was just reaching out to Frank because obviously we're all suffering in the skincare industry, and everyone's had to close, and we don't know how long for. And so I was just saying, look, if there's anything I can help with, reach out. And really, we thought maybe we could just discuss some ideas, hopefully share some experiences of other therapists and what they're finding is really working for them during this time, and hopefully inspire and share ideas that maybe we hadn't thought of before. So some of you may be doing these things, some of you may not have thought about them, but it was just some ideas that I thought we could throw about in a way to keep the business going. I think Frank mentioned it last week about, you know, what we can do with our mindset and turning maybe a not great situation into a positive one. I'm a big believer that something good will come out of this, whatever it is, and it's hard to think what that might be right now, but I do believe that the strong will get through. I mean, to be honest, I do know skin centers already that have literally just closed their doors and said I'm giving up, which is really, really sad. And I think if you can keep going, this is a real opportunity for us to be able to look at the business and turn it around and implement new things that we may not have had the time to do before. I'm a big believer that digital is the future and it's the way to go. In a way, for me, it hasn't really changed too much. Obviously, skin centers are closed, but all of my business is done online. All of our training, all of our servicing of accounts is done via Zoom already. So we were lucky that we'd sort of already set up that with the online training portal and being able to keep connected with people. So I think looking at the digital space, if you aren't in it already, if you don't get in it, it's a no-brainer that we're going to be left behind. And some clients may not. Some clients may be a little bit older and may not be tech savvy. And I'm definitely not that tech savvy myself, but it doesn't have to be complicated, and you don't have to have numerous different apps for this, that, and the other. I actually believe that sometimes we can overcomplicate a business by going too technical. And so we can implement simple things such as Zoom emails and getting online stores together so that we can service our clients that way. I'm presuming that you all do keep in contact with your clients via e-blast, but some of you may not. So if you're not, that's something that I would recommend that you send out minimum monthly newsletters to your stockists. And bear in mind that a lot of people don't read newsletters. So the content of what you actually put in them isn't actually that important. So don't feel like you have to write an essay or a beautifully written article. It literally can be 5 bullet points on how you can look after your skin going into winter, and have beautiful images in there. You can get images for free from Unsplash. If any of you don't know about that, Unsplash is a site where you can download beautiful images and you can use those, and you don't have to pay for them. And you can put some beautiful images up. It doesn't have to be much wording, but it's just a way of keeping in contact with your clients so that you are popping up in their inbox, and it's just a reminder that you are there. It might be special offers coming up for when you reopen. These are all just ideas, but don't think you have to put a lot of content in the newsletter. It's just minimal content, beautiful images, and it's literally a little bit of information so that people know that you are keeping in contact with them. Some people do them every 2 weeks, some people do them every week. If you don't do them at all, I would start with a month, every month, and then see what kind of response that you get with that. But it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. If you haven't already, then I would definitely suggest sending out an email to all of your clients, explaining obviously that you're closed, but you're still here, you're here to support them, and going through the ways that you are here to support them. So if you are offering online consults, which I'll talk to you about in a moment, some great ideas of what you can do in those, but list the things, whether you now have an online shopping area on your website. So let them know the ways that they can keep in contact with you and what you do have to offer in the digital space. Too many people I noticed were writing things like, we're saying goodbye, our doors are closing, it's just for now, but it's not forever. And in a way that is breaking up with your client, and you're more or less telling them, I'm not here for you, but I'll come back when my doors are open. So I think it's important not to me, that has a bit of a negative connotation. So it's more about, we're still here, but we're just here in a different way, but we're here to support you and your skincare needs. It might be that your client doesn't know what to do because they've got eyebrow hair growing back and they don't know what should they do. Should they leave it? Should they pluck it? Can you help them? Just tell them what to do with the stragglers. It might just be little things, but they do need some point of contact. So I feel it's important that you let them know that you're here for them, rather than say, you know, it's goodbye for now, but not forever, because that seems really final to me. Social media is huge. So many skin centers don't seem to be on Instagram, and Instagram is the main platform that people are looking at the moment. Now, Facebook also is a very important platform, but where everybody seems to be looking at the moment is Instagram. And so what I would suggest is making sure, if you don't have an Instagram profile for your business, make sure that you do, because what a lot of people will do is have a personal Instagram and a business Instagram, and it's all a little bit mixed up, so that you're seeing what they're feeding their children for breakfast, and, you know, the husband doing DIY at home, and that's all mixed in with the business Instagram. So I would strongly suggest, because what Instagram is good for, it's for your branding. Instagram is really good to get your brand out there, so that when people are scrolling through, they will instantly recognize your business. And so the logo that you use, the font that you use, should be consistent with your website and also with whatever you're putting on Facebook as well. rather than people seeing what I call behind the scenes of, and people like behind the scenes, don't get me wrong, but I think it's important to have your business page very separate to your personal page so that it doesn't get mixed up with you out on a Friday night when we were allowed to go out having drinks with friends, so that people don't know whether it's a personal page or a professional page. That makes sense. Same with Facebook as well. Have a personal Facebook and then have your business Facebook as well. Facebook is still important, and Facebook tends to be what clicks through to sales. But I think it's important to remember, if you're using Facebook for your business, Facebook and Instagram are both what we call social media. And a lot of people use Facebook and Instagram as purely advertising platforms. And if you're like me, I'm getting a little bit over social when I'm looking at it and it's people just selling at me. It's product here, product there, people selling, this is what I can offer you. And don't underestimate the importance of what social media is about, which is actually being social, like we are here. Social media really, people need to engage and people need to have an interaction with each other. So if you do have Instagram, if you do have Facebook, the importance of being able to write back to people, to check all your Instagram and check your Facebook, check for comments from people, comment back to them. When you start getting that social interaction, that is where the platform starts to grow. But if you use it purely as, we've now got this new product and this is what I'm selling and this is what I'm doing, and it's all just advertising, that's when you don't get the engagement back. So don't think that it has to be every post that you do. It has to be something that you're selling and advertising. People will start to gain traction and following when they feel that it's of value to them. So it might be tips and information about skin that isn't necessarily selling anything. So it might be a how-to, or it might be a, did you know something about your skin, a skin fact. And when you post those type of things, they're the things that are going to get reshared, because people will repost them and reshare them. Because think about it as, would I know that? Would I want to talk about that? Is that something that I would say to a friend, did you know? Because these are the things that will actually get shared. So it might be something that, did you know that your skin is covered in millions of different microorganisms, bacteria? People probably don't know that. Did you know that one of the main functions of your skin is protection? So try and think also what is topical at the moment. And I do quite a lot of work with media, and what's trending at the moment are things that you can also then incorporate into your social media. So things that are trending at the moment, skin microbiome, and in a way that the media is linking skin microbiome in with skin barrier function. So you can do different topics on how the skin barrier function is protecting us. So protecting our skin not only from, you know, dryness, irritation, skin sensitivity, but also from microbes, bacteria, and viruses. So that's what the skin barrier is, a protective waterproof barrier, and the media is really jumping on that at the moment as how your skin is protecting you. We know that the skin is even involved in immune response. We've got millions, if not billions, of T cells in the skin that are communicating with these microbes, telling, you know, informing us whether something is a potential threat or an invader. Which is why sometimes the skin is more reactive than not with topical applications of things it doesn't like. So the media loves anything like that they can link it in to what's going on at the moment, because at the moment it's all about protecting from disease, the immune system. So why don't we start talking about how the skin and the immune response in the skin works? I've done 2 things this week, Body and Soul and Marie Claire, just on that. They're loving it. So start to tie that into your social media. The skin microbiome, you know, that's a great thing, because you've also got the Nimue products, and the prebiotics. So talking about how we're moving more towards skincare that's actually going to help support the skin's own natural microbiome by feeding it. You know, it's topical skin food, feeding the bacteria in the skin. These are things that people will stop and read and won't know much about. Rather than drink water, it's going to hydrate the skin. Things that are a little bit outside of the box that are going to start to gain interest and traction. Another massive thing at the moment that is trending is skin fasting. Has anyone heard of that? Skin fasting?
No.
And it's a big thing that's growing in the media at the moment, and I'm doing a lot of questions on that. And skin fasting is basically, they're tying that in to being in skin isolation, because we're all in ISO at the moment. And so now the media are wanting to do stories on, do we just ditch the skincare during isolation and go into a skin fast? And the thought behind skin fasting, I think it stemmed from a Japanese company years ago, saying that if you give your skin a break from its moisturizer, the skin will basically recalibrate and rehydrate itself. There's no evidence to support that, but the idea behind skin fasting now is going towards using more natural products, giving your skin a break from heavy makeup, you know, and the comedogenic makeup that can cause acne cosmetica, maybe paring back the skincare routine, because we know that if we do too much and we're over exfoliating, we can do more harm than good. So we can link it in with, let's use this time to detox the bathroom cabinet. Let's go through the makeup bag. Let's look at what we need to ditch. So you can tie in the concept of skin fasting and talk about it that way, because this is something that's going to be massive in a few weeks in the media. We're going to be hearing more and more about it, and that's basically what it is. So it's minimalism, really. People are moving now towards looking at ditching certain ingredients and looking at minimalizing their skincare routine to maximize the health of their skin. So it's looking at ways we can be clever, think outside the box and say, well, let's remove comedogenic ingredients. Let's remove the artificial colors and dyes from the makeup, and let's look at what we can do, and let's look at reassess topical skincare and see what you're using and what you're not using to be beneficial. The other thing as well, you know, stress. Everybody's stressed. We don't know when skincare clinics are opening up. People are worried about finance. People have got homeschooling. They've got everybody working from home, and it can actually be quite a really stressful environment, which is going to have a knock-on effect to skin. So that is also something in social media. We can be talking about the effects of stress on the skin and what we can do to counteract that. So that's something else you can think about. And also diet. So Easter, chocolate, refined carbohydrates, hot cross buns. Easter is probably not the best time for healthy skin. And it's all about balance and moderation. So looking at maybe what happens if we have too much sugar in the diet, how that can affect things like glycation, for instance, premature aging, and what we can do to get back on the healthy skin bandwagon. So lots of little ideas for you that you can start to introduce into social media, but things that are also tying into mainstream media, because the hashtags that you use will also depend on how much traffic you're getting and how much people are viewing what you're posting as well. So try to think a little bit outside the box with that. With Facebook as well, one of the areas that tends to be really growing in traction is Facebook groups. So having private Facebook groups. So something that you might want to think about is having your own private Facebook group for your skin center. And it may be that you touch base, you go live. It might be that you're posting different information about the products that you're using or about the treatments, or it may be that you go live once a week in your group or once every 2 weeks in your group, where you're inviting your clients to connect with you. You may have different topics every week. It might be literally you're staying connected with them for the first week. It might then be themes. So one week you might be talking about masking, or it might be how to cleanse at home, or it might be how to use a home roller if you've got one, or a gua sha if you use a gua sha, if I've pronounced that correctly. But think about what you have in your clinic, what you're retailing, and then how maybe you can link that into your Facebook group. I do know some clinics that are actually connecting every week with their clients, and they're doing it as a like Thursday night or Friday night catch up, and they're doing it with drinks and wine. Personally, I wouldn't recommend doing it with wine. I'm all about the health and the natural, and alcohol's not great for the skin, so I'd be doing it with a glass of Vital. But it's entirely up to you, and you know your clients. Or it might be have a wine and then have a Vital to follow, but entirely up to you. But some people are doing that, and it seems to be working really well for them, because it's allowing the clients to connect, and it's creating your tribe, and it's allowing your clients to really become loyal followers with you. So you're leading your tribe, if you like, and you can lead the themes, you can lead the conversation, and it seems to be working really well, because what happens is the other people in the group will say, oh, I used the eye mask and it was incredible. Oh, I used the cream. Yes, I love that cream too. Oh, I haven't tried that cream. Oh, I'm definitely going to try it. So what happens is then your clientele start to sell you to your other clientele and cross promote for you. So it seems to be working really well, and if it's something you're open to, I would suggest that you do it. Another option is, and some people are already doing it, starting up skincare programs where people start a little bit like the Michelle Bridges, you know, you sign up and you do your food plan and your exercise, but you can do it with skincare. So it might be that they get skincare and then they're actually doing a 3-month skincare program, and you'll be talking about different skincare conditions, how to use different products, and you're coaching them through. It might also include diet, lifestyle tips, meditation as well. So that's another option. That might be something that is a paid thing to do, to sign up with you, and you're giving them all this additional information and advice. But a few people are doing it, and they seem to be doing that quite well. There's a lot of online programs there. So just a thought to throw out there for you. Also think about what you can post on things like Instagram Live, Instagram TV. Think about sharing the products that you use. So it might be, this is how you use your mask, this is how you use your eye mask, your eye cream, showing them and talking about it. But also, what are your favorite products to get you through skincare isolation? So if you had to pare it back to 5 products, maybe every week you're talking through a product. The first product I would start with, and then tell them why you love this product, what it's done for your skin, how often you use it, when you use it. So talking about the products. People love to hear about what a product does and how it works. And so that might be just talking through your favorite products and what you do in your skincare regime can be really beneficial. I'm seeing a lot of therapists getting online talking about how tired and exhausted and how they need a glass of wine, which is fine. We can all have a sort of a laugh and relate to it. But at the same time, you've got to think about, what is it doing for your business? Is it helping you sell your business and sell your products? And leading by example, living that aspirational life. I always, it's a little bit like Disneyland. You kind of want that when a client comes to see you, they're coming into skincare world heaven, where everything is perfect and they're being inspired and you are aspirational. So for me, I think if they see too much of your personal life, which isn't aligned with healthy skin and healthy well-being and lifestyle, it's a little bit like seeing Mickey Mouse with his head off behind the corner smoking a cigarette. Do you know what I mean? It can be a bit like, oh, how come that, you know, they're saying that they just had a packet of chocolate biscuits and Tim Tams today and a bottle of wine, and I thought they were all about healthy skin. So just be careful what you do share with your clients, because it's all about being real, but at the same time, we want to inspire them as well. So think about online consults as well. I think this is a really underutilized resource and something that could be really beneficial, not just during while we're all isolated, but ongoing and moving forward as well. Because online consults, I think, gives us the opportunity to really think outside the box and give your clients almost a consultation that they just wouldn't have time for in clinic. And so an online consult could be something where your client pays you for an online consult, and it might be a consult for up to an hour. And remember, it's your time, so you do need to charge for it. I think Jocelyn Petroni, who is quite a well-known skin therapist, is charging $350 for her hour skin consult. And I'm not saying all of you need to charge that, but she values her time. She's fully booked. She has made it redeemable against skincare products, but she knows that if she's working for an hour, she's going to get $350 back one way or another. So what I wouldn't personally recommend, and it's up to you individually, but I personally wouldn't do an hour consult and not charge anything, because that's an hour of your expertise. And I think it devalues it if you're just call me and I can have a chit chat with you. If you're going to do an online consult, make it a proper consult and charge for it. And if you want to make it redeemable against product, that's entirely up to you. Different to a 10-minute catch up just to check in on products, it's different. But if you're doing an hour consult, charge for an hour of your time. And with these consults, really think outside the box, because now we've got the opportunity to have a Zoom meeting where you can catch up with your client, and this gives you the opportunity to really ask them in-depth questions about what they're currently using. Get them to show you into their bathroom cabinet. You know, they can maybe take you into their bathroom with their phone, open up the cupboard. Come on, let's go through this together. Let's pull all of the products out. Let's look what's been sitting in there for the past 2 years that maybe has gone off. Let's look at what's not going to be working for you. Let's look at maybe you're doing too much to your skin and we do need to pare it back. Maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe you haven't got the eye cream, or maybe you haven't got a mask. Let's look at what's working, what's not working. Let's go through your makeup bag. Let's look at why you've got that acne cosmetica. Are you using anything with heavy silicone bases in it? Are you using makeup primers? Are you using bronzing products? Have you got a natural mineral makeup in there? Maybe the makeup that you thought was a natural mineral makeup isn't, and it's a talc-based one that you got from the pharmacy, but they thought it was natural. So they can literally show you the products and show you the ingredients if they get close enough. So this can be a really personalized consultation that they wouldn't necessarily normally be getting in clinic, because you can't physically go through all of their products in the makeup bag and in the bathroom cabinet. For those of you that know nutrition, you can even talk about diet and lifestyle, and talk about wellness and internal products that they can use as well. Or show me into your pantry would be a good one, I would be asking, because whenever you ask a client, what is your diet like? 99.9% of clients will go, I eat, it's pretty good. I eat pretty good. And then when they take you into their pantry, it's full of 2-minute noodles and refined carbohydrates and alcohol and chippies. So quite often what they tell us doesn't correlate to what's really going on. So this is a really good opportunity to really go deep with your clients. And then if you are putting them on a skincare regime, you could do it that they've got an ISO pack where they get sent skincare. Maybe they get sent a tool if you do home rolling. Maybe there's ingestibles like Vital, and they actually get a pack that they can use at home. It's a home care pack. You might then, that might be part of the consultation. And it might be then that you also talk them through how to cleanse the skin. Have you ever watched somebody cleanse their skin that is not a qualified skin therapist? It can be frightening. You know, they're scrubbing and they're rubbing, and they can be quite vicious. So they may be missing all cleanser in the hairline. How are they even removing the cleanser? Maybe they're not getting it off properly and they're just splashing. So you could even actually talk to them through how to cleanse, how to apply the moisturizer. Maybe they've got dehydration on the cheeks. Maybe they're using actives and they're putting a retinol directly on the dehydrated cheeks, and they wonder why they keep having a reaction on the cheeks. So even how they're applying their product can show you maybe why they're reacting or not getting even a result. How are they applying a mask? They can actually do the mask with you. So these are all things that you can think about doing so that the client feels that they're getting a really personalized consult. And this is then providing them value that they wouldn't necessarily get that much in-depth information about going through what they're currently using and what they can swap up in clinic. So you could use this online consultation to your advantage. And it might be when clinics have reopened, it's a very quick way to follow up with clients as well. When they've come in for a peel or a treatment, or they're using new products, it might be that every client gets a 2-week, 10-minute follow-up, just so you can see their skin and check in with how they're using product, or remind them to use product. You know, quite often they'll be really excited for 2 days after a treatment, and then they're like, oh, I forgot to use it. Oh yes, I've been meaning to get into that. So it can be the way of the future. It doesn't just have to be for now. So I think these online consults can be really, really valuable if you think outside the box and you use it in a way that gives your client extra value, rather than just do your standard consult that may not have all that extra valuable information when you're in clinic. The other thing some people are doing, going back to the Facebook groups, you can have a you know, if you are all catching up with your clients, you know, it might be that you are all having a mask on, and make it into a skincare catch up. You know, it's a social catch up where you're all masking, and you're sitting there in your pajamas and your face mask on a Friday night. It's just a thought, but people are connecting and enjoying the connection. So it's something you could do. If any of you do have Vital, you could do a Vital testing night, you know, a Vital tasting night, or you're sitting there with a Vital instead of a glass of wine, using their genetic products, or going through different products that they may not be already using. So use your clients to sell to each other as well, because they can be really good to promote other treatments for you. The other thing that I think Frank mentioned earlier, and I think it's a really great idea, is use this time to get prepared for when you go back into the clinic. It might be that it's time for a refresh. I would suggest give your clients something new and exciting to look forward to, so that it's not like you've just closed your doors and then you reopen your doors and everything's the same and time stood still. You want to give them something new and exciting to look forward to. It may be that you've got new products coming. So it might be that you've got Nimue now, and you've got prebiotics and products to support the microbiome. It might be that you've got internal beauty products to take on a more holistic approach to your treatment. It might be that you've taken on makeup. It might be that you've taken on a home roller. It might be, you know, it could be anything. But have some new ideas that you can incorporate into the clinic. It might be that the clinic needs a refresh. It might be that you change the signage. Is there signage that's falling down, wording that's come off, posters that have faded and peeling off? This is the perfect time to refresh that, maybe paint the clinic, paint a wall even, change the furniture around, so that when the client comes in, it feels different. It feels refreshed. The energy is different. There's new things to look at. There's new products to look at. Maybe there's new treatments. Maybe you take off treatments that I would suggest taking off treatments that you don't like. If it's your clinic and there's a treatment that you don't like, but you're doing it just because you feel like you should do it, I suggest take it off and focus on what you love doing, because what you love doing is what you'll be able to sell and upsell and link in other treatments and products too. If you don't like waxing, don't do it. Focus on skincare. If you don't like pedicures and you're still offering pedicures, don't do it unless you charge a fortune for it. Just think about that. Think about maybe your treatment menu, what you can refresh, what you can take off, and what you can upsell. Maybe it's a new mask that you can add on to the facial treatment. So I think it's the ideal opportunity. How are you doing your treatments? Are they all getting a consult? Is it only a new client that gets the consult? Maybe you're going to change things, shake things up a little bit. So when your clients come back, it's the perfect time to say, you know, we're changing things up a bit. We've refreshed, we've rebranded, and get your clients excited. But at the same time, you want to keep in contact with your client via the social, via Facebook, via Instagram, via Facebook groups, so that your client doesn't start to go elsewhere. And that is why I think it's so important to tell them, you know, we've got new exciting things coming for when you come back to the clinic, to make them want to come back to you, rather than them think, oh, maybe it's time, I haven't been for a while, she might not notice I'm not coming back, I'll try somewhere else. So it is really important to keep that carrot dangling, if you like, to say, this is what we've got coming. It's all going to be very new and exciting. You might even want to do a relaunch party and have a little open evening where maybe there's some healthy nibbles and you are talking to them about skin health. There may be a theme, maybe that somebody from Vital Plus comes along and maybe talks about a product or a consult. Maybe you're offering short consults. Something to get them in. It might be about nutrition and health if you're offering Vital or internal products, to get them motivated and inspired and get everybody together. How great would it be if you've been doing Facebook groups and your clients have started to connect on the Facebook group, that when you've reopened, they all get together in the clinic and there's a little get together, and that would be a really great morale for everybody. So I do think there's lots we can do to really think about what you can do to get digital. Something I haven't mentioned, which if you haven't done it, I really encourage it. I've been saying it probably for the past 10 years, that I really believe digital is the future and online sales is the future. And the reason it's important, exactly the reason now, for those of you that haven't got products that are being sold online now, will be feeling, how on earth are my clients going to come back and purchase product from me? And what you don't want is them to go, oh, well, I might as well just get products online from elsewhere, which is what's going to happen, or try a different product brand. So I do think it's important to have an online store, to have it professionally branded. The other reason as well is if your client runs out of product, it's really easy for them to hop online and buy product from you. Especially if you're a home clinic or a one-man or a one-woman operator. If you're the type of clinic that doesn't have a receptionist, or you don't have a big retail area in your clinic, it's really, really intimidating, I personally find, to ring a doorbell, knock on a door, walk in, wait for someone to come out of a treatment, feel like you're interrupting them, wanting to purchase a product, knowing that the therapist is then in a rush so that you don't want to take up too much of their time to ask about another product or how much it is. Sometimes if the client isn't coming to you for a treatment for another 2 weeks, but they've run out, online sales can be a really good way for them, or for you, to pick up their business and prevent them from going elsewhere or picking up that product. So I personally am a promoter or believer that having an online store with your clinic is important. And it means that your client will keep coming back to you and keep purchasing from you. So if you haven't got that going, it is something that I would suggest. And think about what you're offering, whether it's skincare, whether it's herbal teas, whether it's inner beauty products. But these are all things that you can offer online for your client that they can keep purchasing from you until they can get back into the clinic. If you've got a big retail space in your clinic, it's a lot easier for people to walk in off the street, purchase, get advice and leave. But if you're a smaller clinic that doesn't have that, it does create a barrier for retail sales. So again, the online side of things, it doesn't have to be fancy and expensive. You can quite easily set up, I think, if any of you are in the Vital private group, we've actually even got a video in there on how to do it. So you don't have to spend a fortune to do it. As I said, I'm not about overcomplicating things and making it so hard that you can't do that. And it costs money. So it's about supporting your business to make as much money as you can, and to really help your clients as much as you can, and to prevent your clients from going elsewhere. But I think the stronger the relationship you have with your clients, the more connected they feel with you, they're just not going to go elsewhere. They will be more loyal than ever. So I hope that's given you some little ideas and tips to get busy with during isolation. And again, I think it's also that time, the clinics haven't even been closed, for two weeks yet, is it? It's not long. And I think it's been 2 weeks or a period of shock for most people. So don't beat yourself up if you haven't done anything, or you have had too many wines or whatever it is. I think it's quite a normal reaction. And I think don't be hard on yourself, and don't compare yourself to maybe other people that may be already out there and doing it. We all work at our own pace. And remember, we don't know how long this is going to go on for. I thought originally it would be opening again by the end of May. But there's talk of this going on for 6 to 12 months. So I'm hoping it's not going to be that long, but it could well be that we reopen, the clinics reopen, and then something happens and we have to go into lockdown again. So I think it's important that this is a time when we can really get set up for business. So if anything does happen again in the future, you know, we've got the online consults, we've got the online store happening, we've got the private Facebook groups happening, and we're in communication with our clients. So at least we've got something to keep going with, and that we are prepared. And it really only means that we're going to come back bigger and stronger and more motivating for our clients than ever. So I think if we can turn it into a positive and look at what we can do after we've got over the initial processing of, you know, what's going on, because I still was, I think I'm only just beginning to realize that this wasn't a joke and it wasn't a dream, and I'm not in a movie, and this is actually really happening, and that all the skin centers pretty much in the world have closed down, and everything's closing down and coming down to a standstill. Now it's like, okay, well, this actually is real life, and what can we do to try and get through this and support each other? So hopefully maybe I've shared some ideas or tips that you can take back to your clinics and your businesses and utilize them. And if anyone else has got any ideas or anything else that has been working well, I'm sure everybody would benefit from sharing those.
Thank you so much, Fiona. That was great insight on many things. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute everybody so that we can all share our appreciation for what you've just shared with us. So here's everybody. He's unmute, and thank you so much. Okay, I've got a few questions, and Yana is asking, can you please send us some information on your products? Sorry, I'm going to re-unmute you just a second. So Fiona, what I think I'll do is I'll upload your details on our closed group, because we have a closed group, and I totally agree with you that everybody should have one. So we'll put all your contact information. I can honestly vouch for the quality of your products. I know that a lot of our therapists are already using them and offering them as a supplement to our products. We've actually made, Lydia here has just made a muffin using, which one was it? The
flexibility?
Yes.
The flexibility we use. So we're you know, doing things here to share with everybody, and it's absolutely delicious, and certainly something that everybody could benefit from. So I'll definitely leave all the information.
And you can go to the website, but yeah, we can send you actual stockist information if you come through admin@vital-sol.com. So that would be great. We can send actual information about the products and stockist criteria as well.
Absolutely. So don't worry, everybody. I will put that up on our group, and you'll have all the information to reach Fiona. Also, Anna is asking if you send samples as a gift to your client and do a discussion day on the product that they try. Is that too much?
I don't think so. Actually, what somebody did to me last week, I went to a dinner party. This is not skin related, but it's sort of a similar situation. I went to a dinner party a couple of weeks, probably a few weeks ago now, and I met a beautiful couple who have actually got a winery in the Hunter Valley. And they've recently purchased it a couple of years ago or something. And then a couple of weeks ago, they said, what's your address? We want to send you some wine. We're doing a virtual wine tasting. I don't actually really drink, but my husband likes to have a good drink. But we joined in, and what they did was they sent 2 bottles of wine, and they got everybody on Zoom, but you could do it on Facebook. Like, I think Zoom's good because you can see everyone and you feel connected. And he spoke about one, I think they've done it in a 2-week series. There's another one next week. So everybody was there. He was speaking about this particular red. I tried some. It actually was really lovely, and I'm not a big wine person. It was beautiful. And it was a virtual wine tasting. And out of that, I think he must have had at least 20 people on the virtual wine tasting. And I would have said absolutely everybody would have bought a box of that wine. Mm. So I think that if you did send out samples, providing that the samples are proper samples and that you haven't just decanted product, you do have to be careful with that for insurance and legality reasons and things. But if you're sending out samples, then I think it's a great idea, and you're quite likely to get on. But just make sure they can then buy them from you as well. That you've got those products in stock and they can order them. But I think it's a great idea. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. Well, everybody says thanks. Anna, thanks you for responding. I guess that, it was amazing to hear all the ideas that you came up, all the trending subjects that you brought up, the importance of setting up Instagram as well, and making sure that it's separated from your own personal one. So really some fantastic ideas. There are a lot of, actually, if you just Google how to set up a closed group or Facebook, if you don't know, there are a lot of videos. It's infinite, the amount of information you can get. But if you are struggling, we do have our tech savvy girl here. She can probably she probably can help you out. So we're here as well to help you out. Look, I was thinking, that every crisis has a silver lining, and well, this is one of them. Being able to hear you, and last week we had Amanda, and next week we'll have a special guest as well, just to talk about things that can help us work on the business, and not always being in the business and doing appointment after appointment, but really thinking through everything else that we can do. And I really do appreciate the fact that you're seeing the future and the way that we can move forward, and not the way that we can move back to how things were. And setting up a online store, for example, is certainly something that we all have to start thinking about. Now that we've opened the doors for that, there's lots of platforms where you can build these things. If you don't feel confident enough, we know people who can help everybody. But again, there are lots of online free tutorial, and that you can access, so that you don't really need to be so tech savvy. I really loved all those subjects that you brought up, all those trending subjects, the microbiome, of course, and the skin fast. And that was the first time I heard about that, and that's very interesting. I know that Sophie is with us, and she helps us write the blogs, and she's going to get right onto it, and we're going to do some research and share that with everybody.
Skin fasting, skin detoxing, skin minimalizing, all of those things. Yeah.
Those are great subject ideas. So thank you so much. What I'd like to ask everybody is to maybe share with us some of the positives that's come out since, like you said, we've had to close our doors for like two weeks ago. So our doors may be closed, but we're still in business. And it'd be great to hear some of the positives that everybody's experienced since this all started. Personally, I know that I'm going to be learning some new skills. As I mentioned earlier, I just enrolled in a course, a free course with TAFE. I'm looking into enrolling into another course for photography. You know, I'm going to be looking after my health. So I'd love to hear if you want to type some of the positives that you've experienced. I'd love to hear those and share with everybody. And yeah, is there any other questions that anybody would like to ask Fiona while we have her? So for the moment we don't have. So just a quick announcement just regarding some of you who want to continually learn about the products that you're using. Well, with our products, you may know we were going to launch a new hyaluronic acid on the market, and we had a conference set up and everything, but then all this happened, so we had to cancel. But we will do a live webinar on this product on Wednesday, next Wednesday, the 15th at 1 p.m. So that will be our new HA launch, and we'll of course we'll put all the details in our closed group and let everybody know about that launch. But if you'd like to join us, please do. Yeah, Anna is just saying that's my love the details of the marketing social media course. So that's great. Yeah. Thank you again. Thank you so much. And well, we'll see everybody next week. And keep well and keep safe and take care.
Thanks, Fiona.
Thank you, Fiona.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.